guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another tarot reading. It's not going to be a long one like the other ones that I've been doing. This one is going to be very straightforward, and we are ready to give the client some hopefully positive answers. So the client submitted 3 questions, and we're going to be starting with the last question that she submitted. She wants to know basically if success is in her future for her. So we're going to be reading the cards based off of the image of success that she is going to have in her mind. So whatever success looks like for her, we're reading the cards based off of that. And so I have shuffled, I have set my intentions, I have smudged, I have prayed, I have done everything that I do prior to a tarot reading off camera on already. So right now I'm just integrating my energy back into the cards once more before actually doing her card pull. And what I'm doing here is instead of pulling one card for her, I usually let my guides lead me as to how many cards to pull. So if a person pays for a certain type of reading, oftentimes they get a different type of reading in their favor, obviously. All right, so we pulled 2 cards for that question as opposed to just doing a 1 card pull. Also too, guys, I do have 2 bunny rabbits, and I know I say this often like in all of my videos, but that's gonna be the noises that you hear in my background. Sorry. All right, so we're gonna flip these and see what she gets. So the 2 cards we got for that would be the 5 of Cups. Now you can't really see it because I've got like 2 big ring lights. So the only way I can show you this card, I'm gonna have to turn my lights off because otherwise you can't see. It's just gonna be too bright. So we got the 5 of Cups, and the second card we pulled is the Queen of Swords, also known as the Mother of Swords. So those are the 2 cards that we pulled for you. So the Mother of Swords and the 5 of Cups. All right, so we're gonna dive into this to kind of give you an understanding of why I feel like the deck made that a 2 card pull as opposed to a 1 card pull. So I think the reason why I got 2 cards is sometimes you need more explanation. All right. So the Mother of Swords, or the Queen of Swords, in this instance, is a card that pretty much talks about being witty, making good decisions, but being in control of one's emotions, and also using knowledge for your betterment. So the Mother of Swords showing up in a spread when you're asking a question about your future, your career, your success, your endeavors, it is a positive omen. It can mean one of 2 things. Either you yourself are a wise person, very quick-witted, you think a lot, or you think intelligently. You have an ability to express your ideas and manifest them in a material sense. So you may have an idea and you know how to turn that idea into actionable steps to actually get where you want to be. The next thing this card can represent, that if you have an idea of what it is that you want, you probably will need an example of somebody who already has what you want in waking life, and choose that person to be a mentor for you, because the Queen of Swords usually represents an older, intelligent woman who has her wits about her. Like, she's not figuring life out, she has figured life out already. So I'm going to interpret this as both of those things. Perhaps you are an intelligent, very witty, very clear in terms of knowing what you want for your life and how to communicate those things from a spiritual plane or from in the mind, and then work towards them in the physical plane. But I feel like since this is referring to a future self or a future position, it could mean that to increase your chances of success, look for a mentor. And even without tapping into the cards, I would have said that to you. So I don't find it strange that you ended up getting the Mother of Swords. So I would if I were given advice for somebody who wants to manifest a particular type of life, I would say that success always leaves clues. And if you follow the clues, you get the results. Or in other words, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There has to be people around you in your circle, on the internet, wherever, somebody that you can look to who has done what you want, and you can either ask them for advice and tips to kind of give you a lead or a head start so that you're not figuring it out all for yourself. So this definitely feels like get a mentor if you want to see if you want to see that your future is the way you want it to be. The reason why I feel like this is suggesting that a mentor is a good path for you to take for this is because of the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups represents pretty much like regret. It is a card that talks about somebody who is stuck in a narrative of failure from their past, so stuck in this oh, it didn't work out for me, that they totally miss the fact that that maybe that one thing didn't work out for you, but 4 other great amazing things are working out for you. And so I could also read the Five of Cups in another way, because this is a future position we're reading this in. This could kind of mean that, you did mention to me that you have accomplished quite a few things, but you don't have it yet. So, and this card is that same sort of energy, but this could mean that you don't waste time looking at what you don't have. Tap into things like the law of attraction. Whatever you give your energy and your focus, that is what is going to be magnified. So in other words, if you spend time looking at your weaknesses as opposed to paying attention to your strengths, you miss this whole thing, whereas your strengths are what's going to bring more strength to you. Weaknesses, we could pay some attention to that if it's to our detriment, like we have a really bad vice, we spend poorly. But if it's like, yes, I've achieved these things, but I haven't achieved that yet, and your energy is primarily focused and zeroed in on the fact that you haven't yet, you can look this up. You can look up energies and vibrations and the law of attraction. That is what you're going to continue to perpetuate, and that is what you're going to attract to you. So I'm going to say to you, based off of these 2 cards, the future that you want can happen. It's not saying no, but it is almost saying this is a forewarning to tell her to get out of that narrative of not yet. I don't have it yet. Every decision we make today determines where we're going to be tomorrow. So no, you don't have it yet, but what you're doing now will determine what you have later. And then on top of that, if your dreams are bigger than your scope of experience, for example, nobody else in your family has done this, so you are really just going out on your own, you need a mentor. You need a mentor, you need a guide. If you don't get an actual person to mentor you, you need to hit the books, you need to apply wisdom, and you need to stay focused and have extreme clarity on what you want. And once you know exactly what you want, you need to break those down into actionable steps. And you don't worry about the fact that that's a 5-year, 10-year goal. It needs to be in bite-sized portions of actionable steps that can help you to get to the bigger goal. So I feel like that's what this is saying, but I also feel like the Queen of Swords has something else to say to me. Okay, so sometimes I read my tarot cards not just symbolically, and I feel like it's necessary for me to explain this. When you read a set of tarot cards symbolically, you're strictly reading it based off of what the cards mean, as in the symbolism behind it represents this. The next way that you can read, or that I read my tarot cards, are intuitively. Intuitively means I feel the energy from the card and I communicate that to my client. Not just based off of the symbols, the pictures, not just based off of that, but based off of what it is I am sensing the card is saying to me. So this card, and bear with me, like I said, this is being read intuitively, is pretty much talking about, it's almost like you're too harsh towards yourself. And it's like, The harshness is almost like a brace on your ankles. Like, you need to exercise a higher degree of kindness towards what you consider areas of lack in your life, or areas where you don't have certain things already figured out and worked out. So she's talking about the energy that you are creating based off of that mental narrative that you have. And I think, again, this leads into the Five of Swords the Five of Cups being in your future slot. If you do have this really harsh way of correcting yourself, or like you're really being hard on yourself, you're gonna create situations and scenarios that make it so that it's much harder for you to achieve what you want, simply because you do not exercise a higher degree of self-love. So love for yourself, gentleness towards yourself when you are, not exactly happy about something in your life. Let me see what else the card is saying. Yeah, so I don't know if you struggle with, it's not self-esteem, there's another word for it. I don't exactly remember the word, but it means when you don't think you're enough, you yourself. So that's the difference. It's a difference between thinking you've not achieved enough versus thinking you are not enough. So it seems that this card is hinting towards you have an internal something going on with you, a dialogue that you have with yourself about your worth. And maybe that is spilling over into the areas of achieving as much as you want to achieve, but then being hard on yourself when you don't get it. So we are now a couple of days away from Venus's retrograde. If you don't know what Venus retrograde is, you can just Google it. But basically, one of the themes for Venus retrograde is us having a higher degree of self-care and self-love. I think a really important message for you from these two cards, especially this card, is to be careful not to be so harsh on yourself. And that is one of the things that's emanating the most from this card. It's like that militant attitude towards you is going to make it that much difficult for you to get it. Now, it's not to say that you can't do it. It's just that that's not the path that they want for you to have, because it seems as though you have the tendency to quite possibly live like the Five of Cups. Again, and the Five of Cups is when something doesn't happen the way you thought it should happen, and instead of celebrating the victories, you focus on the one loss. It's like, I got an L, let me take this L and let me focus on this L, and you don't really recognize that diminishes your glow, and it diminishes your shine, and it also slows down your progress. So again, about your future successes, it is possible you can get the things that you want to get, but the cards are showing you how to get it. Change your attitude about how you regard what you've accomplished so far in comparison to what you have not. Look into getting a mentor. If you don't get a mentor, definitely do a lot of research and get clarity on what you want. Break that down into actionable steps, things that you can do. Tiny step, bigger step than that, and so forth and so on. So another thing before I go from this is, again, this is the card of regret. Regret, but also just having the attention in the wrong way, so in the wrong place. So be mindful of that, okay? So that's what I'm seeing for the future goals. It is possible, but that self-love needs to kick up, and you need to be kinder to yourself about the things you think you haven't gotten figured out. All right, so the next question you wanted to know what it is that you need in order to grow. All right, so I've already again shuffled and all that good stuff, and I'm going to just pull a card. Again, I'm feeling from my deck, it's not going to be one card. I'm going to be pulling two cards for you for this question as well. So thank your lucky stars. That's what the cards wanted to give to you. So that's the first card, I feel. What's the second card? Why am I feeling sick? That's interesting. Sometimes when I'm doing a reading for people, just so that we make a distinction here, I'm actually one of those people that has the ability to tap into others' energy fields. And so just now I felt sick. And I'm not quite sure why that wave of, it was in a very intense feeling came over me, and this is about what you need to know in order to grow. So this is very interesting. So I'm going to flip your cards because I haven't seen it as of yet. So for one card, you got the Fool. All right, so you got the Fool card. And the next card we pulled is the Mother of Wands, okay? We're going to start with the Mother of Wands. So you probably cannot see it in this video just because the lighting is so bright. But in this depiction, the Mother of Wands is literally a snake on eggs, wrapped around her eggs, protecting them. And she's holding a staff. So the first thing that came to me when I saw this card was, well, a couple of things. If you get a wand in a tarot reading, it means that you should be a creative individual. So the first thing that came to mind was that you need to protect the things that are a part of your soul, like the things that you are passionate about. So the visions you have for your life, the creativity, the things of you, the things that make you essentially you need to guard that, because it feels like you're at an age in your life where it might not be that you're impressionable, but certain things can be shifted in your paradigm that kind of sends you either too far left or too far right. In other words, you can be influenced. Don't let anybody talk you out of what you think is for you. If you believe that, you know, you want to open up a grand studio of some sort, and like literally it is like a courageous, bold move. Don't let nobody talk you out of that, okay? You're at a very, very good place in your life right now, according to what the Mother of Wands is saying. You're at such a good place, and luckily for you, the people around you don't see it. Now that may seem a bit odd, because why wouldn't you want the people around you to see your potential and the greatness that is in you? No. Sometimes when people see the potential and the greatness that is in you, they stifle you, they smother you, they will trip you down, they will break you down, they will speak against you. People don't see it, and that's to your advantage. That the energy is telling me very strongly that that is to your advantage. So just how a snake can move in like very stealthy, like no one knows what's going on, apply that to your life. What you got going for you, keep your lips sealed. Don't share too much with too many people. It ain't everybody. And the funny thing is, this card is telling me in your circle, no one is on your level. Like literally, I'm not feeling anyone in your vibrations who matches your ability, who matches your visions, the things that you see for yourself. And so that's another thing about the Mother of Wands. It talks about a person who has, so someone with like clear vision for the things that they want for their life. But in a nutshell, what is important for you in order to grow is to protect your babies, protect your eggs, protect your vision, and to protect your dreams. That's your job right now. It is not to have those things validated by anybody. If God wanted them people to do it, he would have given the dream and the vision to them. He gave it to you, and so it's for you to protect. It's for you to nurture. It's for you to grow. So that's what I'm feeling from the Queen of Wands, aka the Mother of Wands. Just be mindful of that. You do have a gift. You do have abilities in terms of entrepreneurship, but you're at a very tender place. It's at a very tender place. You're still very impressionable. Not to say people could come and manipulate you, but it's from a spiritual level. The house ain't finished building yet. It's still some stuff that you got going on inside of you that needs to be guarded and protected. And so that's what I feel like the Mother of Wands is saying for you to grow. You need to guard the things that you consider close to you. Guard the things that are your dreams, your goals, and stop telling people. If you do it, stop telling people what you gonna do. That's for you and Jesus. That's for you and your God. That's not for you and your mama, you and nobody. Trust me, because what I'm sensing with you could be a powerhouse. That's what I'm sensing with you, and that's no cap. Like, I'm not even fluffing nothing. I see the potential in you to be a very successful business person in the future. You just got to be mindful that those things, those dreams and those goals need to be protected. Keep your mouth. Time for everybody. The next card that we got is the Fool card. Basically, it's like a baby chicken on a limb, or a chick. The chick looks like it's about to take a leap. So the Fool card in this case seems to be telling me that your potential is limitless. That's typically what the Fool card means. It means you don't see your limits. That is a beautiful thing. If you don't see limits, it makes it easier for you to achieve things because you're not building a block or a barrier between you and that goal by seeing the limitations. So the Fool card also talks about not necessarily throwing caution to the wind, but being very faithful, having a lot of faith. And it's not the faith where you think about it and say, okay, I'm gonna have faith about this. It's like being at an age in your life where anything is possible, because anything is possible, especially with the Fool card. So the Fool card could be saying to you is just to tap into that energy and be reminded that you do have the ability to create any reality, any world that you want. All right, so what I'm feeling from the Fool card is you need to start doing some meditations, affirmations, vision boards. That's going to be very helpful for you. The position or the place that your mind is in a very absorbent, very moldable place, and that's what this card was saying to me too, but this one is saying it as well. So surprisingly, the Fool is saying, give you the advice to create habits for success. Creating habits for success simply means that you create systems that pay you or pay your future self into the position you want it to be in. In other words, if you do meditations, when you meditate, you know that it brings about mental clarity. One of the cards we saw was the Mother of Swords. The Mother of Swords talks about having mental clarity. If you do things like vision boards actually work. I have personal experience with that. Holding or putting up a vision board helps you to keep in your mind exactly what you're working towards. It plays it in your psyche and brings those things closer to you. So guided meditations, if you don't know how to meditate on your own, affirmations, and an affirmation that's when you wake up every morning, every day, or every night before you go to your bed, and you actually speak over your life the things that you want. While you're speaking those things, you actually have a feeling of having it. So that can be a really powerful tool to help you to manifest. But the Fool is talking to you about this capability, and the position you are in your life right now is a very fruitful position for you to manifest things. So that's what I'm feeling with the Fool tarot card. Again, to recap, protect your stuff, project your stuff, but don't project it to like everybody. It's not for everybody. Develop habits that will help you to be successful. Again, the affirmations daily. Imagine if you started now. Imagine where you will be in 10 years. Untouchable. That's all I'm saying. Because those things work. They do help you to manifest what you want into your life. So that's what I'm feeling from these two cards. The world is your oyster. Go forth and conquer, create, manifest. Be mindful though, it ain't for everybody. It's yours. Not everybody else's. So now we're going to move on to the very last question, which was a question about your relationship. All right, and so you wanted to know what's going on in his mind, all right? What the intent is. Is he in the same wavelength as you? And that's a very, very good question. A lot of people never stop to ask. All right, so give me a moment. Let me tap into the energy. I don't know why it's so intense. I can't figure out why that's happening. But I'm getting intense energy waves washing over me doing this. Feels like it could be 2 cards, but also feels like it could be 3 cards. All right, so we pulled 3 cards, me being obedient, but I'm not feeling to flip over all 3 of them. I'm only gonna flip over 2 cards, and if I feel led to, I'm gonna flip over the final card. You got the Tower, but the Tower came in reversed form, okay? So you got the Tower, but it came upside down. Okay, so the Tower card is usually a card that indicates, not necessarily positive, a positive outcome. However, you got it in the reverse format. When you get a card in reverse, it means sometimes the opposite of what it means in the upright form. However, with a love reading, it just means like there are some issues between y'all in terms of seeing eye to eye. You guys may be different people. Or compatibility, that's a better word. So you guys might not be compatible, but what that means is it doesn't mean all doom and gloom, because remember we did pull 2 more cards, which I have not flipped over yet, so I don't know what they say. But it does mean that something can be simmering between you all to possibly lead y'all in a future position where the relationship doesn't work. My advice is you don't have to force anything. You also don't need to try and run away from the situation, because with tarot cards, when they show you something, usually they're showing you to help you either repair it or walk away from it or something like that. I feel like the fact that the Tower card came in reverse form, it's just saying that you guys probably need to work on the compatibility between the two of you. So in terms of compatibility, it could mean that one partner is more outgoing and then one is not. It could mean that one partner communicates better and then the other one does not. So not necessarily opposites, but like one of y'all from Shanghai, China, and the next one from Japan. Similar, but not the same thing, right? That makes sense. So that was really interesting, but this just says, you know, pay attention and don't bullshit yourself. Pay attention to the vibes. I feel like this card is telling me you kind of know already, you know. Girl, it's the first time my power ever gone off. Ever. That means I'm gonna have to make this quick. Luckily, we're at the end of this reading. And yeah, interesting, my power just went off. Anyway, so this card is kind of like telling me you are aware that there might be some compatibility issues between the two of you. Do not ignore those issues. It's not for you to be afraid, but don't ignore the issues. Find a way for you guys to repair that before it becomes the rift that completely tears the two of you apart. The next card I got is the Two of Cups. Okay, so this confirms it for me. All right, so, okay, I'll break it down. You more mature than him. Let's call it what it is. You're more mature than he is, okay? It might be a while before he catches up, all right? But this definitely says companionship. The Two of Cups is like, it is the card for not lovers, but that's my buddy, that's my pal. We got something. Y'all got something going between the two of y'all. It's just that don't sugarcoat stuff, because it's going to develop into a bigger problem in the future. Let me pull this last card to see what this is. So you got the Daughter of Pentacles in reverse. I want to say either of the partners might feel like there's more out there and they're not ready to settle down. But I feel like it's you more so than him. I feel like it's a, you know, when you know you have options. So I kind of feel like it's one of those things where not to say you could do better, you know you have options. That's what it feels like. However, on the other side of it, it almost feels like when you speak to me, when you talk, when I listen to you and I can somewhat tap into your energy by listening to you talk, it feels like you ain't interested necessarily in having to be dating this one, dating that one. Like, if you could make it work with him, then you will make it work with him. But then there is a side of you. All the insects are coming for me tonight. Oh my God, what is wrong? Oh, shit. So it just kind of feels like you also too don't want to settle, but you're not interested in necessarily working as hard, like doing all this dating and all that good stuff. So another thing, yeah, because that's what I feel with it's like, yeah, I have options kind of sense. But so it just might be that he's not you're probably thinking dating with marriage in mind, or dating with like a real committed, yeah, I got this, that's what I want. He's not there. And it's not an insult. It's not to say you're not worth it or anything like that. That's just his mind is not developed in that place. Another thing that this card can represent is that you should just have fun. And that's 100% against the advice I would give somebody, but that's my personality. But this is like a go with the flow, have a little bit of fun, and it might be due to the fact that he's a little bit younger than you are. So it's almost like you're driving at 60 miles per hour and he's driving at 14 miles per hour. So I think that's where the conflict comes in as well with the Tower card. It's just that you two are on, oh God, listen to me, bugs are attacking me. It must be that you guys are on different wavelengths, and it might be due to the fact that he is younger, but also too because you are a very ambitious person. You're a lot wiser for your years than, someone of your age. Now, I can understand your concerns. You probably are thinking about the fact that you're getting older and you do want to be in a committed thing. But I will be honest with you, I'm just not feeling that he is there on that wavelength as well. And it would be kind of unfair to force somebody to be someplace that they're really not ready to be. I'll recap one more time. The Tower, you guys are different people. Also, it seems as though if you ignore the tiny things right now, it has the potential to kind of bite you in the backside later on. I don't foresee your guy being the type to leave. I don't feel like he's gonna want to leave you, but just because somebody is willing and loving us, it doesn't mean we should ignore some of the signs that are in the relationship. It doesn't mean either that we should be over the top and nitpick about everything, but if it is a flag for you, then you should address it. Be very gentle. You don't need to be rowdy or anything like that. Be gentle about it, address it, because the decisions you make today will determine where you're going to be tomorrow. So this talks about y'all being companions or having companionship between the two of you. And so if you look at this card, it's literally two wine chalices or two wine glasses with two roses. So that tells me that there is a spark between the two of you, and it's a very steady, mellow, feel good, reliable sort of energy that exists between the two of you. This is the card that people get when you get past the wild sex phase. That's my boy, that's my girl, like we've been together. I'm not saying you two have been together for a while. I'm saying the energy that exists when you've been with somebody for a while and they get you get them, and y'all two like waves in an ocean. One is the ocean, one is the waves. So y'all get each other, y'all gel. So that's a good card. But the reverse Daughter of Pentacles talks about a couple of things. It could speak about not being in a good place with money. It could also speak about just feeling like one of you or both of you feeling like you still have options. I am young. I don't necessarily, it doesn't feel like the word should be I don't necessarily want to settle, but I don't know the other way to explain it. It's just like, it's not like you're looking for someone else. It's just that your frame of mind is not into this place where it's like settling down forever. And that leads to the other part of this card, which talks about having fun in the relationship. That's really important. But it doesn't mean that he's not someone who is actually worth working with because of this companion card. That's a strong card to get. But then be mindful of the Tower, which says, don't bullshit yourself though. So that's what I see with that. Yeah, I feel like he, or maybe you, wants to have some fun in the relationship. And that's from a positive place. I really don't even know how to express it or explain it the way I'm feeling it from my spirit. It's like, don't be mad that he's not ready to be married, in 5 years. Don't be mad at that, because he is at a different place in his life. But at the place he is in his life, people do want to have fun. They do want to enjoy themselves. They do want to build something in a relationship. But you got to think about how that relates to you. If that's not what you're looking for, if you don't want to date for the next 5 years, then, or 3 years or whatever, then, you know, I hate to say it, but be realistic with yourself and move on if you need to. At the end of the day, it's not a horrible state to be in, but just be mindful of those couple of things that I pointed out earlier. All right, guys, in a series of unfortunate events, my power went out. I've been attacked by 2 bugs. A frog jumped on my door. A very eventful night. I just want to tell you guys, if you made it this far in the video, you are a trooper. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear back from the client as to how this reading related to her. Guys, as usual, thank you again, and remember to vibrate higher always. Bye.